Hey everyone, welcome to Across the Ditch NC. My name is Laura and I'm so glad you're here today. Well, we are nearing the end of January. We have about a week and a half left. So this weekend, I'm actually going to get ready to start some seeds for our spring and summer garden. So I'm super excited about that. But I got to thinking, I've heard several people talk about how they can't afford to buy some of the seeds from the seed catalogs that they see online, and they see people recommending certain companies, their seeds are a little bit more expensive, or they think that to have a garden, even just a container garden, that you have to spend all this money on expensive flower pots or expensive raised beds, or you have to be able to, till your ground up, and just the thought of the cost of it deters them, so they don't even try to do a garden. But that's what I want to show you in today's video. You can garden on a dime. I'm serious. You probably have everything you need, for the most part, laying around your house to have a garden. It may not be the big, lush garden that you see in a lot of videos or you see in magazines or on TV, but it'll be your garden that you grew for you and for your family. So stick around. That way we can talk about the different ways that you can garden on a dime. All right, so let's talk about gardening on the dime. You don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money buying flower pots, buying wood to build raised beds. You don't have to rent or buy a tiller to till up the dirt. You just have to kind of plan and think ahead a little bit to be able to save up the materials that you need to have a garden on a budget. For example, what did I cook at Christmas that I used Cool Whip for? I can't remember. But I have, my dog is back there. He's very mad that I'm sitting here and not paying him attention. But so at Christmas time, I cooked something. I don't even remember what it was now. But anywho, we had Cool Whip containers. I used some Cool Whip for it. But I remember growing up, and these were our nice Tupperware containers, how we stored food when we had leftovers. But you can also use these as seed starting pots, or you can actually use them for like nursery pots for your more shallow rooted vegetables. So all you have to do, I mean, they're sturdy, they hold up really well. All you have to do is poke a few holes in it. You can either poke your holes in the very bottom, or if you want to come right at the right at the base of the pot, right here, not even on the bottom, but right here on the sides, and poke some little holes. That way water can drain out, but you're less likely to have your dirt to drain through the bottom. But that is a good way to start some seeds. Or you can plant some things like my Tom Thumb lettuce. Ooh, it's wet. But I mean, you see right here, that lettuce is almost fully mature, and you see this is 3.5 or 4 inch pot, but the lettuce will grow a little bit bigger, but the roots of this lettuce is so shallow, you could probably plant 3 or 4 of these into this bowl. And the cool thing is these are so fast growing that you can just throw a little bit of fertilizer in the soil and then amend it real quick, and then throw some more seed in there, and you can have an endless supply of lettuce. So think ahead of time, plan ahead of time. Depending upon what type of butter you use, sour cream, yogurt, Cool Whip, any type of plastic container, save it. That way you can use it to start seeds, or you can use it to actually grow certain things in, depending upon the size of the container. Another cool thing, I will admit, I do not cook a nice home cooked meal for my family every single night. Like many of you, I am very busy. My husband is very busy. So there are some nights that we are just so tired, or we just don't have time to cook a good meal. We'll stop by the local grocery store and pick up a rotisserie chicken. Some people are gasping right now. Sorry, but it's the truth. I'm not gonna fib about that. But after we eat our rotisserie chicken, I throw out whatever is left, put it in scraps. Sometimes I'll feed some of it to the dogs, whatever. But what I do is I will wash this container out. This is you know, how your rotisserie chicken comes in a container like this. I will wash it out really good with some hot soapy water, get kind of the greasy residue out of the inside, get it good and clean, dry it off. Once again, another really good seed starting container, another container that you can grow shallow rooted vegetables in, or you can even use this to grow microgreens in. And bonus, you can use the lid for the same purpose, or you can make your own miniature greenhouse. Super simple, super easy, and you are given a second life to that plastic container instead of it going into the landfill, or if you don't use it, hopefully you recycle it. But you're given a second life to it, and once again, you have a container that you didn't really have to pay for. You bought the chicken, so why not save the container and use it to store seeds in or plant some vegetables in. Another thing, kind of going back to the, you know, researching and just kind of planning ahead. If you can afford, not everybody can afford to do it, but if you can afford to spare just a few dollars each month, and put it aside in like a little piggy bank, a savings account or something, you know, separate from your normal spending account, and then start researching online, or maybe even with some local nurseries or big box stores, and getting prices for actual nursery pots. You don't have to buy the fancy, you know, hard plastic nursery pots from the store that can run you like $15, $20, even $30 for just like a 12-inch wide pot. In my mind, I like doing things on the cheap. It's absurd to spend that kind of money. So if you do your research with some good companies online, or even locally, you might find someone, nurseries that might be getting rid of some that they don't use anymore, or find where you can order them in bulk online. You can get a good size. This is a 3-gallon pot. I've got some 5-gallon nursery pots over there, and you can get them like a 5-pack or a 10-pack for less than $10, depending upon where you order from. I really like Greenhouse Mega Store. They do a good job. They have really good prices. I've ordered some off of Amazon before, but you can get these for really cheap. They're not the most sturdy plastic in the whole world, in the world, but they will last for several years. Another thing that I am not ashamed to admit is if I see my neighbors throwing out flower pots, so say they went and did some landscaping around their house, or maybe they had some mums this fall that, you know, died in the pretty little, you know, container from the store, and they put it on the street corner for the trash truck to pick up when they come through, I'll go grab the pot. It's perfectly good, so you can reuse it. So once again, another way to save a little bit of money. Kind of on the same note, when people buy seed starts from stores, a lot of times they throw away the seed starting trays, like the little 6-cell trays. If I can turn this around. My romaine lettuce. A lot of times they'll throw away these little 6-pack seed trays when they buy stuff from the store, or they'll throw away these pots. Don't. Reuse them. You can use these year to year to start seeds with, and even grow stuff in them. You can grow, once again, you can grow lettuce, maybe even some kale in this size pot. Going back to the whole doing your research and buying in bulk, you can buy smaller pots the same way, as well as those 6-pack seed cells. So it takes a little bit of forethought, it takes a little bit of planning ahead, but thinking ahead and saving things like that, or even salvaging them when you see them on the side of the road, will save you a ton of money. And they're perfectly fine for container gardens. Another great option that many people have available to them, even though it may be, you know, a little bit of a drive to their nearest town, is your local dollar store. I ran to our local Dollar Tree today when I got off work and just took a look around at some of the gardening supplies that they have. A lot of things were picked over. People have already been in there and been buying stuff, but I found some really cool items. So one of the things that I'm going to do this week before I start my seeds, I'm going to start washing all of my seed trays and pots. That way, if there's any fungus or bacteria or anything like that that's left in it, I can clean that out. That way it won't, you know, affect this year's crop. But I got a big sponge to use on my bigger pots. That way I could wash them off a lot quicker. I mean, it's $1 and I can reuse that. Let's see. Oh, I came across these. If you've been watching my videos, you've seen that I've been using clothespins to secure the frost fabric to the PVC hoops that I created in my raised beds. I actually came across these at the Dollar Tree. I don't know if you can see them. They're actually plant clips. They're meant to hold like tomatoes and things like that to a stake, but I thought these would be really cool. Check that out. Holding my fabric to the PVC pipes, and they have different sizes in there. They have multiple sizes. So this came with 20 of those little hooks, 10 of each, for $1. I actually got 2 packs of those. I was excited when I found them. Another cool thing that you can get for seed starting or even growing, like small little flowers or even succulents and stuff, if you're trying to propagate succulents, you can buy pots at the dollar store. So they have these little tiny clay pots, and these are great if you have kids, or if you know, if someone in your family has kids. These are great little things to get and let them decorate and plant seeds in so they can watch it grow, and it's a pot that they decorated. Also makes really good gifts. They had 2 different sizes. So they had the really small size. There's 3 in this for $1, and the pot is a little bit smaller than the size of my hand. Then they had a size up, a 2-pack for $1. So I thought that was a pretty cool buy. Dollar Tree also sells seeds. Once again, I've seen several blogs, several videos where people are like, you should only buy seeds from this company, and that company may have like seeds that are a little bit out of some people's price range. There's no shame in buying seeds from the Dollar Tree, because guess what? Some of the same companies that put seeds in big box stores are the same ones that package seeds for the Dollar Tree. These seed packs were 4 for $1. I actually only bought 1 for right now until I finish inventorying my seeds, but I got a little wildflower mix because I want to incorporate more flowers into my garden this year. But for 25 cents, I got a seed pack. There are quite a few seeds in here. If you only have enough room for a few plants, or maybe you want to try a new vegetable or fruit that you've never had before, and you don't want to spend, $5 on a big pack of seeds, go to the Dollar Tree and get you a 25-cent package of those seeds and give them a try. That way there's not a big investment, and these grow the exact same way that the other seeds grow. So there you go, seeds on the cheap. I was able to get 2 other containers at the Dollar Tree. I got a pretty decent size of my head. Plastic flower pot. Sorry, when people drive by, I always look. Flower pot, it's pretty sturdy for $1, and it's really pretty. So I will actually probably put, I usually put like basil in pots, so I'll probably plant some basil in this year. And then they actually had a little hanging pot, about the same size as the other one, just not quite as tall, but looks like nylon type strings, so you can actually hang these. So my husband bought me like a shepherd's hook a few years ago, so I love having like hanging baskets up there. So I'll probably plant some pretty flowers or something in this year. Once again, for $1. So you want to make your garden pretty, you want to decorate it on the cheap, solar lights. I got these for $1. And a trick about solar lights, one of the #1 things that messes up solar lights, particularly your cheaper solar lights, because they may not be sealed quite as well, is to take like a clear plastic cup, like a party cup, like a Solo cup or something, and actually put it upside down over top of the light. So I'm trying to grab something. So pretend this is clear. You would actually put it over top of the solar light, or not solar light, the solar light, just like this. So once again, it's a clear cup, use your imagination. It's a clear cup over the top of it that actually keeps rain water from getting into the top of the housing structure, and it'll actually help your really cheap solar lights last a lot longer. So, I mean, these were $1 each. Thought that was a really good price. Usually you find them anywhere from like, I think I've seen them like $3 to $5 for the cheap, like your lower end lights in your big box stores. And then my sweet son knows how much I love sunflowers, and he saw this and he said, "Mama, you need this for your garden." And so he picked this out. Just a cute little $1 decoration. It probably will not last long, but you know what? It is beautiful. It's going to bring a pop of color to my garden, and I will think of that moment in the store when it was, "Hey, you like flowers and you like sunflowers." So a cheap little decoration for $1 for your garden. So if you want a garden, don't let the thought of how much it costs deter you from starting a garden, or from starting, you know, some seeds in a container and then, you know, moving them into larger containers. You can do it. You don't have to have a lot of money to do this. Just do a little bit of planning, do a little bit of research, start saving your yogurt containers. Ask your family to save their yogurt and sour cream and their butter containers and, you know, Cool Whip containers, things like that. And you'll have a set of seed starting, you know, little pots and pans that cost you virtually nothing when you think about it. And then if you have friends or neighbors who are landscaping, or, you know, they're throwing out pots, grab them. There's no shame in that. You're recycling them, right? But just kind of think about it ahead of time and save those things. That way you can start seeds in them, or you can even, some of them, depending upon what type of seeds you're growing, you can actually like grow your vegetables in them until they're full grown and ready to harvest. It just takes a little planning ahead, a little thinking ahead. Well, I hope today's video has inspired you to not let the thought of how expensive a garden could be, don't let that thought deter you from gardening, because you can do it on the cheap. Trust me. When we moved here, I started gardening on the cheap, and we just slowly built things up over the years. But once again, I really hope this inspires you to go ahead and plant those seeds and start your own little garden, even if it's just a few containers sitting on your windowsill or on the front steps. Go ahead and start your own garden. You can do it for super duper cheap, trust me. Thank you so much for joining me today. My next video, I will be planting seeds for our spring and summer garden. So I hope you will come back and see me for that video. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a blessed day.